It may seem as if the god of war, feeding constantly on the conflict in the world, is at his most powerful. In the myths and the comics, Ares had done his best throughout the years to destroy the Amazons, sending Hercules against them and sacking their island, but he also had ambitions for all humanity. Although there are 7.6 billion humans, we make up just 0.01% of all living things. In other words, humans are statistically insignificant, but have caused the loss of 83% of all wild mammals and half of plants since the dawn of civilization. The rate of lethal violence between Homo sapiens is 7 times higher than the average among 1,024 species of mammals. Now humans have amassed the potential for total annihilation.
But it has never been enough. Until you.
In 1987, Wonder Woman Volume 2 began the 6-part series. In it, Ares' plot was to spark a war between the United States and Russia, provoking World War III. In the 6th-issue Power Play, Ares was nearing victory and was only thwarted when he was finally caught in a golden lasso and forced to face the truth, that without the chaos of men, he would cease to exist, having no one to worship him.
Then you've learned nothing, have you?
However, there would be survivors in this nightmare, like the ginkgo biloba. A ginkgo tree survived in Hiroshima less than a mile from ground zero. It's nicknamed the Tree of Life, and it happens to be the oldest species of tree on Earth, dating back 270 million years. It also smells like vomit, helping it to survive thousands of generations of grazing animals. Along with the ginkgo tree, other survivors would probably include rats, cockroaches, ants, scorpions, flies, wasps, worms, bacteria like E. coli, amoebas, and the seemingly indestructible tardigrade. It wouldn't be the most pleasant world, but it would still be alive. And the story begins again, one more time. There was once a utopia. At least that's what outsiders had come to think. It made sense from far away. It had mostly been forgotten, cut off from the world, and for a long time no one questioned this supposed utopia. It had achieved an almost mythic Paradise Lost status until finally an explorer came to stay there for a while. At first it seemed the view from the outside was correct, but one day their leader died, leaving a power vacuum, and a tyrant emerged to fill it. Not all were willing to follow. A group of dissenters separated, forming a smaller group, but this did not bring peace. A member of the new group was ambushed one day without warning, beaten badly, and was never seen again. Over the next 4 years, the smaller group was picked off one by one and systematically destroyed. The victors ate the flesh and drank the blood of their victims. They celebrated over the dead with hoots and screams. The explorer was horrified. There was no mercy. But it wasn't men that did these things, not this time. These were the events observed in the jungles of Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania from 1974 to 1978 during the Gombe Chimpanzee War. The explorer was Jane Goodall. By the end, 10 were dead or missing, and only 3 females remained. They were beaten and kidnapped, and in that way, the two groups became one again. Goodall discovered the systematic hunting strategies and aggressive nature of chimpanzees, exposing their cannibalism and taste for smaller primates. She turned conventional wisdom upside down and found it difficult to come to terms with what she saw herself. But she also observed peaceful and affectionate behaviors, intelligence, emotions, social bonds, and forced man to redefine itself or accept chimpanzees as human. Examples like this and others, like ants and termites, should teach us that we have more in common with nature than many of us may admit. Their complex social structures and fights over territory and resources are so familiar, it seems odd to consider them beneath us. In fact, Ants, in particular, are arguably more successful and dominant than humans by a number of metrics. It's thought the total biomass of ants, the weight of all of them combined, is more than that of humans, and they certainly outnumber us. However, even among ants, war rages, and almost unnoticed, one species, the Argentine ant, Lenapithema humile, has grown into a colony so large that the sun never sets on its intercontinental empire. And they are waging what is being called the largest war ever fought in the animal kingdom in the entire history of life on Earth. The Argentine ant benefited from international travel, and it's thought sometime in the 1800s a super colony emerged in Europe. The super colony subsequently spread worldwide on its way to dominate every landmass except Antarctica. Researchers discovered when members of different super colonies on different continents were mixed together, they greeted each other as kin. However, believe it or not, a schism has split the North American super colony in two. The most active known battleground in the Argentine Empire is now a brutal civil war in San Diego, California. The average Argentine ant is just 3 millimeters tall, and yet the battle extends for miles. Along just this one war front, 30 million die every year.
I am not the god of war, Diana. I am the god of truth.